In honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Now, this is a video I came across from the Chow Time Pod. Right, this is a Moabite-looking individual. You know, he could be Filipino, he could be a Jake. I'm not too sure. But the point is, on this video, he is 100% correct in the fact that the title goes, "Black men have checked out from black women. Passport bros out." Right? And he makes a statement in here that I agree with, and I always said this statement, and the apostles and elders have said this as well, especially about the Latin tribes. They follow after the so-called black woman, right? But really, all these women's bad behavior, they're following after the so-called black woman. When they say they don't cook, they don't clean, and all these different things. Nah, I ain't doing that, this and that, and the third. You know, it's certain talking points that they use, these feminist talking points. They get it from the so-called black woman. Okay? Yes, the Edomite gave it to the so-called black woman, but the so-called black woman has been leading the pack in this bad mindset and this disrespect towards her men. And these other women are following suit. Okay? Let's go ahead and play this video real quick.
Welcome back to Chow. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Dee Dee. You know, she did a video on black men have checked out from black women. I wonder why. You know, I think other groups, communities are actually following in black women's footsteps. When you look at the Asian community and you look at some of the louder women and the more women that are online, how close is their demeanor and their actions to black women? Mm-hmm. They're actually very, very similar. A lot of cultures, in my opinion, are starting to assimilate from black women, at least women-wise. So please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
When you use the word intimidation, what do you two mean?
Brittany and I were out at a restaurant, and there were a group of men there. No one approached us. This was a younger crowd of guys. Nobody approached us. Like, we were just sitting at the bar.
Because nobody approached them, they were intimidated. Maybe they just don't want to deal with you guys. They said they were young cats, so maybe you're too old.
And we were just like, oh, so nobody's going to come over here and say.
Were they looking in your direction, or were they not even paying you guys attention?
I'm going to say something controversial. Okay. It's a very Dallas thing. Coming from Atlanta, to see so many black men here not be interested in black women, because they were talking.
Oh, they did. So it was other women at the bar.
Rebecca.
So we were walking out, and I was like, well, I'm just going to say something to them. So I was like, what are y'all here for?
Because they didn't hit on you, you had to go to them and say something to them about it? What the fuck? I don't...
They're like, oh, reunion.
Like, dismissed. Like, I've answered your question. But Rebecca and Claire were getting full engagement, drinks, and this is like a crowd of probably like 10 plus black men.
All right. So what do you guys think about what they had to say? Now, they're basically saying this is something that they noticed in Dallas, but there are women all over the country saying or speaking out on how black men are not approaching them, how they, these men are, are checked out. They're not really, approaching them, trying to get their attention or trying to date them. And so there are...
Like, I wonder. So, just me speculating, man. Since black men have not been checking out black women on a mass like they used to, who is? Are black women are just relegated to the the lonely corner of society now because they are the bottom of the barrel of race-wise in women. I don't think very many other races are going after black women. Not very many Asians for sure. I'm not saying there aren't any. There's not very many. There's white men that do, and then there's Hispanic men that do, but it's just not on a sheer number that black men used to. Since then, now that black men are not, or black women are just probably the most single demographic of women out there.
Which is a fact, right? And that mindset that they have, right, has made them that way, you know? Because Jake has tried to deal with the black woman, and they find that it's like walking up a sandy hill when they could go deal with other women, and it's an easy, smooth relationship. You know, to the point that the simple things impress the so-called black men because they're not even getting that type of cooperation from their own woman. But that's okay. They're like he said, they're going to be very single, and they're going to be single in a time where, you know, men are going to be very valuable. You know, we're coming to a time of Isaiah 4:1, you know, where 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. But I'm going to read this, because, you know, Esau has allowed the so-called black woman to basically promote this bad behavior on social media, and it goes unchecked. You know, they're on these news stations, these talk shows, and all these things promoting this bad behavior, this feminist mindset, and disrespecting their men and saying their men ain't shit and this and that. I can do bad by myself, and they're intimidated, and all this shaming language, which these women are adopting that from the so-called black woman. Anything you do now is insecure. You tell her you don't want her to go to the club in a miniskirt, because you're insecure. They get that type of shaming tactics, I believe, from the so-called black woman. Okay, because they're the best at the shaming and the gaslighting. They are the absolute best, bar none, at shaming and gaslighting. 100%. 100%. Okay, but this is Esther 1:10. It says, on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bista, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to shew the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him, right? So she disobeyed her husband and the king, right? Which was the king. It says, then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Miris, Marsina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto Vashti, unto the queen Vashti, according to law, because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains? And Memucan, because he knew something had to be done. He knew that this type of disobedience and this bad behavior could not go unchecked, right? Unlike this society. Like I just seen this video a few days ago. This little Arab fucking demon bitch. And that's what the fuck she is, man. All right, little young Arab demon bitch. She's about fucking 12 years old, and she was disrespecting this grown man that was old enough to be her father, and, you know, whatever, and bullying his son or whatever, and the dude slapped fire out of her, man. You know? Because why? Because this place, they go unchecked. They go unchecked. Okay? And Memucan, especially the so-called black woman, they not only do they go unchecked, they're promoted and praised for this wicked behavior. And to show you it's a girl, it's just a few. You're looking at the few. No, we're not looking at the few. Because if you go on any of those videos where they have that bad behavior and they talk that shit and they do all kind of wickedness, look at the comic sections. I always go to the comic sections. They're all in agreement, man. You'll be lucky to find out of a 2,000 comments, one negative comment from a woman that's going against that thing, what they're doing. You'll be lucky. So that's showing you they're all in agreement with this wickedness. Okay? It says, for this deed of the queen. No, excuse me, Slaki. It says, and Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, right? It says, for this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. And guess what? The so-called black woman, she despises the so-called black man. Niggas ain't shit, blah, 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 blah. And our black men are the lowest on the totem pole and this and that. And all they do is defame black men. It's been like that for the longest time. So now these women of these other nations are starting to catch on and disrespect their own men. Right? It says, when it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti, the queen, to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. And guess what? There was contempt. There is contempt and wrath between the so-called black man and the black woman. Okay? Or the black woman towards the black man, rather. Right? It says, if it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him. Right? And by the way, the familiarity breeds contempt. So sometimes you don't need to be around a woman 24/7, man. And I don't believe you should be living with a woman personally. I mean, shit happens, but you know, that's not in my mind to do. It says, if it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. So yeah, so she got kicked out of her position, and that was made public. So guess what? It didn't promote them to do that. It promoted them to abstain from doing that, from disrespecting their husband. You know, so that was a very wise move that the Persian king made, and his counselors. Right? Showing you they were actually wiser than these fucking Edomites, man. Right? Yeah, Esau has a lot of data and intelligence based upon knowledge being increased, but ultimately they ran their kingdom wiser than how Esau runs his kingdom. Okay? And yo, this woman leads the pack. The so-called black woman leads the pack in bad behavior, man. You know? And all these, and that's why, hey man, even me in my head, I'm like, yo, if I get got a woman, I don't want her to be having all kind of black woman friends. That's a no-no for me, because they're not gonna be teaching her about how to be a wife and what they did for their husband, their husband. I made her this, I rubbed his feet, I did this and that. No, they're gonna be talking about things that are destructive towards the relationship, because they're not right. All right. So anyways, with that little one, this was edifying to the elect. Just a quick video I wanted to make, and I'll say shalom.